Okay, so to do this, you need the formulas, which are located on the PowerPoint notes for Chapter 8. So this is the one that pertains to a sample size when dealing with a proportion. It's the third section of the notes. So we're just going to pull each number out and figure out what n has to be. So it says you want to obtain a sample to estimate the proportion of a population. So there's your keyword that possess a particular genetic marker. Based on previous evidence, you believe approximately P star to be 61%. So we'll say P hat is 0.61. Q hat is just 1 minus P hat. So Q hat is going to be 1 minus 0.61 or 0.39. The population, you would like to be 95% confident. So we're going to use that. Confidence is 95%. We'll use that to find the z-score. And it wants our margin of error to be within 4% or 0.04. So the first thing you need to do is figure out what this z-score is. So I'm going to start just by drawing a z-chart, a normal curve, just to show you what we're looking at. Ooh, let me redo that. So what I'm looking for is the z value. This is z and negative z. That cut off the middle 95%. So if it cuts off 95% in the middle, that means there's an equal number of percentages on either side. So it's 5% divided up between these two spots. So this side's going to have 2.5% or 0.025. And this side's going to have 2.5% or 0.025. So I'm going to start by finding this z value. Doesn't matter which one you find, just because we're squaring it, I'm just going to find the positive one. So I'm going to do inverse normal, just like you said, inverse normal. But the area to the left of this z value is 95 plus 2.5, 0.95 plus 0.025. So that's going to be 0.975. U 0 sigma is 1. So I get that number. I'm just going to write down a rounded version. That's 1.96. So we'll say z 1.96. But I'm going to actually use the number from the calculator. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that number, the z number, and square it. So I'll do that, grab it, square it. I get that. Now notice I have to multiply it by p hat and then q hat. So I'll multiply it by 0.61 times 0.39. I get that. And then it says divide by the margin of error squared. So the first thing we do is find out what the margin of error squared is. 0.04 squared. I'm going to take my numerator, which is that, and divide by my denominator, which is that. So I get 571.17. Notice this number should round down to 571. But since we want to make sure that our sample size is large enough, if I round it down, it might not be large enough anymore. No matter what this decimal is, you always round up. And that's where the computer gets 572. Okay, one thing to keep in mind is if they don't give you p hat, let's say they never said what p hat was, you just assume that p hat and q hat are both 0.5. P hat equals 0.5 and q hat equals 0.5. Okay.